Worked for 4 months for free.
And I did it for 4 months without pay.
What next?
It was a lot of money.
How were you surviving?
I have this mantra. Whenever I'm in any position,
It's very important to tell the client.
like living for a purpose.
Almost becoming a villager.
Oh, okay. How much are they paying?
What makes Steri Tours stand out?
We are very keen on cultural tourism. Because Kenya has more than the wildlife.
So you set expectation
Yes.
and meet the expectation.
And meet the expectation offered to the world.
To start Steri Tours from around zero.
Yes.
What did you do differently?
Start a business, you're starting to solve a need and you're creating an impact. And now that way, when you don't focus so much on the shilling, you're going to fail terribly.
In this extensive interview, we are having a very interesting conversation with Phoebe Maina, the founder and CEO of Steri Tours, one of the top travel and tours companies in Kenya, serving Kenyans and the rest of the world. But her story was never easy, from working for free for 4 months to owning one of the biggest travel and tours company in the country. My name is Caleb Korir, and this is Jet Media. Stick to the end to get the whole story.
Maybe introduce yourself, tell us who is Phoebe Maina.
I am Phoebe Maina, the founder and the CEO of Steri Tours and Travel. I'm also the founder of a charitable organization called Dignified Children International. I grew up in a village that I try to make so famous, especially on social media. I'm always talking about my village and the stories. It's called Tambaya village in Nyeri County. A small village that is very beautiful, surrounded by trees and rivers. So that is where I grew up in, and went to school there, primary school, high school, also went to Nyeri. And then after that I went to Egerton University. And pursued a degree in education. So I'm a teacher by training, but I diverted from my profession and got into the NGO world, and where I worked for over 10 years in community development and child development in different organizations that are global. At some point I worked as a program manager and also as a country manager in this country, traversing the entire country, doing community development and child protection and child development programs.
Maybe take us back a bit to your brain, because I know we can always jump into the big picture instead of going to nitty-gritties.
Yeah.
So earlier you told me that in fact there are some challenges growing up. So what could have been these challenges?
Okay, I grew up in a family of 4. A firstborn among 3 boys. So I was the only girl in the family, and of course under abject poverty, but all the same I had an opportunity to be taken to school by my grandfather, who valued education. And I was an A student because I topped in class from class 1 to class 8. I was a darling of the teachers. Unfortunately, that didn't boost my esteem given where I was coming from. As much as I was excelling academically, there's something that was pulling me down because of where I came from. Because we struggled with food, clothes, and that really ate on my self-esteem. As much as the teachers applauded me, deep within me, I kept feeling I wasn't good enough and all that. But besides that, I was able to overcome that challenge because I still excelled and joined one of the best schools in Nyeri. And I also continued being applauded by the teachers because of my academic excellence. And I also became a leader at the school. I was a prefect. I was also a Christian Union chairperson. But still, I was still feeling where I came from really affected me. But it didn't prevent me from taking up leadership position. I had performed very well in sciences. But I think I would say my destiny was was well orchestrated for me to pursue arts, and that is why I'm doing what I'm doing today. Yeah, so I gave up being a doctor in my third year in campus.
It was like, no, I'm not gonna do this.
Yeah. So I'm okay being an English and literature teacher. I don't know what the world has ahead of me as an English and literature teacher, but I accepted, and I was like, the world is big. I will explore. It was December 2006 is when I got now the social worker job, and already now the school I had taught until the end of the term. I mean, end of the last term. Yeah. So I joined the organization, and they posted me in the interior of Ukambani, like where the first match, when it leaves, forget about going to Nairobi. Now, do my parents even know where I'm working? Like, it's so far. And again, remember, I couldn't afford even to rent a house. So I talked to a parent, I mean, one of the leaders in the organization, the community leaders, and I asked her, remember, this is a stranger. Can you host me until they start paying me? And she agreed. They took me in as their daughter, and they hosted me, which was also, it's called confidence and courage to ask strangers to host you. And also, I mean, until you start getting paid. But at least after 4 months, they got the grant and they started paying us.
Wait a minute. Like you worked for 4 months for free.
Yes.
So how were you surviving in this kind of environment? Because it's crazy.
I just needed. I think I remember my aunt also sent me like a 1K. And remember now, I bought a phone. Yeah, now I had a phone, not smart, and a very cheap phone, like 1,000 or something. And this family was feeding me, so I just needed money for my upkeep, like personal upkeep. I didn't need anything else. And remember, I'm in the village, so as long as I have food, and I do the chores in the family, and I'm eating, then I report to work, do community work, do needs assessment, do home visit, do school visit. Like I was supposed to set up a program in that village, and I did it for 4 months without pay.
Okay. Now, when did they start paying you now? And what was the feeling? Like, now I can make money out of...
After, on the 5th month, they now gave us the contract with the pay, and my salary had tripled. I was now at 21,000. My goodness, I didn't even know what to do with 21,000 then.
It was a lot of money.
It was a lot of money from 7,000. And I was very happy. And I also loved my job. I loved learning the language, because remember, these are people different from my tribe. And I also loved learning their culture, learning their history, going for home visit, and I loved the place. But I have this mantra. Whenever I'm in any position, because I'm also a believer, I'm like, this is the lowest. I talk with God, and I'm like, God, this is the lowest I can be. So even when I was teaching, I knew that was the lowest I could be. And I was like, even in this job, this is the lowest I can be. And when my time is up, I like living for a purpose. And so I knew I was there for a reason, for a purpose, and for a certain duration. And once it's over, it's over. And after 2 years, my mission was over.
What next? Now you finished that the 2 years working in a rural village. What next?
After now the 2 years, there's a new organization that had come into the community, and I kept telling them, I need a job in Nairobi. I need now to go to the city. Because you can imagine, you grew up in the village, went to high school in the village, went to university in a village, now working in a village. When will I get to the city? You know?
You're almost becoming a village girl, like totally.
I mean, I was a village girl. I'm still a village girl even after a degree. You know, I needed a change. So they told me there is an opportunity. There is a guy who was bringing the Wazungus to the community, and he was like, "There's an opportunity to be a tour guide." This is also an opportunity that formed my foundation in tourism. So can you come in as a tour guide? I was like, oh, okay. How much are they paying? 10K per trip. I was like, how many trips can I do in a month? He exaggerated, because he said I can do 4 trips in a month. And I was, oh, that's 40K. So double the current salary. So I took up the job. So I resigned in this other organization. Actually, I resigned when they were promoting me, and they were about to get me out of the village to another station that was that was on the road. Remember, this one didn't even have network and all that. But I declined. It was my time to leave.
Now you moved to the
City.
city.
Yes.
And now doing the tours and travel
Yes.
business.
So I moved to the city. At least I had a small amount of saving from now my social work job.
Yeah.
And I remember getting a bed sitter at Wangigi and 4K. And I was like, wow, that's the other one was a one room
Yeah.
in Ukambani that was going for 1,500. Now I have a bed sitter, a self-contained house.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, this is an achievement.
Yeah.
So I get the job, and I mean, I move, and then I wait to be told when is the next team coming. This is in April.
Yeah.
And in April, the first 2 weeks, no trip. And I'm like, did I make a mistake? Like, he told me there'll be 4 groups. And now we are in the middle, but I was like, you know what? I know I will not be ashamed. I know I made the right decision, and I know God will not let me down. So then I was called. I went and was trained how to handle the team, and all the protocols, picking them from the airport and everything. And I was ready for my first group that I was picking from the airport. And the first group was quite exciting because it was some students from Atlanta, and they were coming from Georgia Tech University.
Yeah.
It was a group of 20-something students, very young, and I had a blast with them. So we were going to Ukambani because the project was in Makueni, just in the same village where I was working.
Yeah.
But so now we used to sleep in Machakos, and then every morning we go to the village. Yeah, so in the community we were doing school program where we were building classrooms, we had books for children, we were also digging trenches to put water in the school, like pipe to water and all that.
Yeah.
And so my work was pick them at the airport, then introduce myself, brief them about Kenya, the project they are going to do, then go with them to the hotel in Nairobi. Then in the morning during breakfast, I tell them more about Kenya and what they'll be doing. Then off we go to the community. It was quite interesting. It was my first group, and then I get into the bus, and then I know after I have picked them, because you go with a pager, written the name of the group. Then you just show them the way to the bus. Once they settled, I introduced myself, and you can imagine, and I said, "Hi, I'm Phoebe," and everybody was like, "Oh my gosh, she speaks English." Wow, that was the first culture shock. I was like, "What do they think we speak?"
Yeah.
You know.
And what is your feeling like now, having like this is kind of condescending way, like of looking at somebody?
Yeah, for me, I was kind of quite understanding. I didn't get offended.
Yeah.
Of course, it's offensive
Yeah.
because it means they didn't do their homework to learn what language is spoken in Kenya. But for me, I was like, I took it easy.
So you were thinking, they were thinking like you were about to use the sign language.
I don't know what they thought what language we use, but you see now it's going to get interesting as we get into the village with them.
Yeah.
So after picking them, and then I'll introducing them, telling them about Kenya, and then I'll going with them to the village. We go to the village. Remember, in the village, there are no toilets. There are latrines.
Yeah.
And then I'm getting these young people to use, I'm telling them, here is the latrine. And I had told them at the hotel, they are all pitch latrines.
Yeah, sure.
So I don't know what they imagined they would look like. So we get there, and I'm, oh my gosh, Phoebe, how am I supposed to use this? So I had to literally demonstrate to them how to use a pit latrine. Wow. But it was, for me, it was fun. I was learning about the things they know and they don't know. I was also appreciating our education system because we learn a lot. And before even you go to another country, you remember you studied about American, you studied about European, you studied so much, and so you appreciate. Yeah, you see also in photos, we bring world news and all that. So I was like, wow, you start appreciating what we have and what others may not have, and also you get to learn about how other people view the world. And so it was quite an interesting journey. It was also a culture shock for me because after we finished the community work, we were in just a 3-star hotel in Machakos. And then the last day we went to Amboseli, Serena. It was remember, I'm a village girl who has never traveled. And then now I'm taking an entire group of Americans to a 5-star hotel. I don't know about starters, about dessert, about the main course. Then I go there, I serve myself food, then I come sit. I didn't even bother to read because they label the food, but I didn't bother to read. Let me just dug in. And I sit, everybody is sitting, and then I'm like, wow, this is so sweet. And then the guy next to me is like, yeah, of course, because it's a dessert. Like, oh my gosh, okay. I had to redeem myself. That's like, you know, in Africa, food is food. You can begin with anything, but isn't that true?
Yeah, it's true. So you begin with anything.
Yeah, you can begin with the cake. Then after that, you go to the starters, and then now you finish with the main meal.
So
or
you finish
whatever.
with the starters.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
So how long did you do this job?
So I did that job as a tour guide for 3 months. And then now and remember now I was not only handling the students, I was also handling elderly people. And so while I teach, they were like, no, Phoebe, you're too educated for this job. Because you went to school, got a degree, and here you are, your work is just to, because I'm not the one who was organizing. I wasn't the one doing logistics. Mine was, I used to be given an itinerary and a pager. Then I go to the airport, I page, then I take them to the bus, and then go with them. I'll just brief them what they're going to do. It doesn't require a lot of thinking. It just required emotional intelligence.
But you were too,
and I just had fun.
Overqualified.
Yeah, I was too qualified for that job. And so they were like, no, Phoebe, you can't be doing this. You're too intelligent and too educated for this job. You need a better job. Apparently at that time, they were looking at another partner organization was looking at establishing an educational program in Kenya. And so they're like, you've done, you have a degree in education. So we want a program manager to set up the program from scratch. It was a startup. And so they interviewed me, and after the interview, they gave me the job. The only blunder I made is I had not done proper background on how much program managers are paid. Remember now I'm a tour guide who is now getting promoted to a program manager. A bigger role and more responsibilities and all that. I had no doubt I would do that, but what I didn't know was how much such positions are paid. And so remember, I stayed at Dawn Home with somebody who was working at Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and she used to make 40K, and that is the kind of life I wanted to live. And so here I was asked, how much do you want to be paid? You can be sure what I said.
What?
40,000, yes.
And how much were the managers being paid back?
So 40,000, after a week I got a letter offer, and they gave me 55,000. But now when I got into the job, I came to learn that my fellow managers were earning 97,000 net.
Oh.
But still, it was still okay for me, because this was like two times my salary. And so I was like, wow, I'm fine. And then again, I loved the job because it was involving, I got a chance to put into practice my degree in education, because we were supposed to do needs assessment and set up programs to improve the quality of education in government primary schools and government secondary schools in the communities they were working in. So I was a liaison between the organization, the community, and the Ministry of Education. So that really gave me an opportunity to learn and also to grow my career. And in 1 year, I was the country representative of the organization.
The entire organization?
Yes.
Wow, that was like from a tour guide to
a program manager, to a country representative, because I helped. I set up an entire organization in the country. Yeah, the program, and we were in 13 communities in the country.
Which organization was this?
The one that had employed me as a tour guide was Fort and Bridge.
Yeah.
Then the one for children program was Bright Point for Children.
Yeah.
So we were doing primary schools, and secondary schools, and then also children homes. So I was in charge of all the programs that they were operating, that they were running here in Kenya. Yeah.
All right. So how long now did you do this job?
Again, remember my mantra when I get in, I'm like, this is the lowest I can be.
Yeah.
And I want to be here for the duration that I'm expected to be in and make an impact. And so I give myself into the organization and into the program. Those children up to date, the ones that were in those children homes, they're my mentees. And some of them now, I have worked with them in the current program that I'm doing in my village.
Right.
And I met them when they were very young.
Yeah.
And so I give myself to the organization for 2 years. And for the 2 years, we grew. We were impacting over thousands of children across the country, in Kisumu, in Laikipia, in Nyeri, in Makueni, in Nairobi, all over. And then I individualized my role.
Yeah.
So I got very close to the to the children and also to the communities I worked with. Then after that, I transitioned to another American organization that was also still dealing with children. Then there I worked for 2 years. Then after 2 years, my purpose was done.
How was it? Like, you were earning 55,000.
Yes.
Now you transition to another, and now you know that I should earn maybe
More.
95 or
Yes.
even more.
Yeah.
So how much did they give you? Because now apparently they were poaching you too.
Oh yeah. No, in this other organization,
Yeah.
they gave me double what I was earning in this other organization.
So 100.
I was at
plus.
110.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now when do you mkuu?
Yeah. And so still, even in this other organization, I think I've learned the art of establishing startups, because even this other new organization was a startup. And so I helped establish it from the ground, lay the foundation, also start the registration, set up the program, come up with the program design, and also the implementation. And I did it for 2 years. Then after 2 years, I was done.
So which year is this now?
No, that was 2013.
2013.
Yes.
Now after 2013, where did you ended up now?
Now after 2013, I quit the job because actually no, that one my values and the values of the organization started drifting away. That is the organization based in the US, and me as a representative here in Kenya, we started drifting away from each other, and I was like, I couldn't now continue working with them.
What could be this?
I can just mention one thing because I won't mention the organization.
All right.
But what happened, I remember when they fired the founder in the US. Yeah. And then after they fired her, one of the statements they made is like, Kenyan children, they don't need a heart. They don't need somebody to love them. All they need is money. And I felt like that was quite offensive. And even as we had a conversation with them, more than often they could show, like they looked down upon my people, our people, and that didn't go well with me. And it was just like, we're just there. Our values don't matter as long as they're giving us the money. And that is where we parted the ways. Because I was like, we have to protect the dignity of our children and of our people. It's not all about the money. And so I had to part ways with them.
Yeah.
Yes, and that is where now I started dreaming of starting an organization that upholds the dignity of our people.
Yeah. Okay, so talking about now having that skill of, you've been in the tours industry, you've been a tour guide.
Yes.
How did that skill help you now coming up with the company?
One, I got to visit so many national parks and also conservancies in the country. I got to go to several hotels, and I learned how this business goes, because most of the time I was with these tour drivers and tour guides. And so I would hold conversations with them, and I learned how it goes. Like, I also learned how to create an itinerary. I also learned how to handle guests. And so from there, it was easy for me even now to create experiences out of my experiences, because I had been in these places. Yeah.
Okay. Now, talk about how you came up with the name Steri Tours. Because I don't know, where did you came up with the name? Like, how did that came to be? And at what point, like, did you decide now I'm going into this? Because
Yes.
you know you can have the idea first, and then after some time you can give up, or you
Yeah.
can decide to go in. So how did that came to be?
The idea had been there because even the name had secured it so early. It's supposed to be Steric. Remember, I was a science girl in high school, and I performed very well in chemistry.
Yeah.
So I picked one of it's a dynamic atom,
Yeah.
Steric.
Yeah.
So, and I was like, I'm creating a dynamic organization. And so I used Steri. Yes.
And that is how you came up with the name.
Yes.
So now you've decided that you're getting into the business.
Yeah.
So where did you get the capital? Or how did you even get started? Because you know, getting into the business, you have to register and then
Yes.
get the maybe the cars and the licenses. How did
Yes.
that work?
Okay, remember I was running it as a side hustle while I was still working. And again, this is something I would tell even the youths. A tour business, it's a business you can start with very little capital. Because you just need money for registration and getting the licenses. Then now it's a service industry.
Yeah.
Into accelerator programs that would set me also up with the skills that I needed to run a business.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now I had already run it as a side hustle where I was taking my friends and their friends. I would organize their holiday, but on the side. And
Okay, so how were you organizing?
Yeah.
Like, you know, you have to get a car
Yes.
at least, and then find a destination. How did you go about that one?
remember when I was working as a tour guide and also when I was in that organization as the country rep, I built a network of drivers and owners of tour cars. So anytime I would get a booking, I would contact those ones that I know. And I'm like, I have this team that wants to go to Nakuru on this date. How much will you charge?
Yeah.
And then from there, I'm able to do my calculation and create a package out of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So that's how you got started.
And, yeah,
now.
and then I would hire them. Yes.
With zero cars,
Yes.
zero nothing.
Yes.
But there was an opportunity
Yes.
for you to take people to places.
Yes.
So now you've gotten some customers. What next?
So let me take you back a little. My last job, I owe thanks to my former boss. She's called Isis Nyongo. She's a big name in women empowerment in Kenya and also in Africa. So when I was working for her, she exposed me to business platforms and also business accelerator programs and all that. And while she employed me, I had told her what I was doing before joining her company, and she didn't have a problem with that. I've never found a boss who is so secure with herself that she allows you, when you're working for her, you can also be doing your other things.
Ah, nice.
So she knew I was running a tour business. She knew I was running my children program. And actually, she's the one who would ask me, when is your next camp? Please block it on your calendar so that at, the job calendar, so that we know on that week you will be away.
All right.
She didn't fear empowering me. And I learned a lot from her on how to run a business, because now hers was a social enterprise.
You said there's some courses you took prior to opening the company, prior to
Or just
scaling
within,
it.
yes.
So what was some of these courses, and where did you learn them? Where did you go to?
There was Amadeus is where you learn about how to book tickets and all that. And it is also, you get a certificate. There was also another one that was being offered by TUI Foundation on tourism entrepreneurship. There was also another one on sustainable tourism. I did a couple of them.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Online.
That mostly, most of these courses were online.
Yes.
And you would, which year is this? I'm curious.
That was 2018, 2020 also, and 2021.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you registered the company which year?
I registered the company in 2020 and incorporated it in 2021.
Yeah.
Yes. And it's worth to mention that I was also, I really spend much time online. And this is something that would also inspire the youths. There are so many opportunities online. While I was online, I was just checking out and also looking out for ways to improve myself and also improve my business, I came across a program that was being offered by TUI Foundation. TUI Foundation is based in the UK, and they had this opportunity where you had to do a course for 6 years on tourism, 6 months on tourism, and also a grant. And I applied for it, and I won the grant and the 6 months of mentorship and training. And so the grant also came in handy in 2021 for me to establish and run the business. The grant was, I think I can just mention it because it was in the public domain. I got a grant of 1,000 euros.
All right, 1,000. How much is that?
1,000 euros is like 1.1 million.
So that's how you got the capital? Because I know.
I would say it helped me.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
But I was already running the business.
Yeah, but I know this is a 352 million industry.
Yes.
And I know the entry to barriers to entry can be very insurmountable to some extent. How can you say, or what can you say about that, especially for your case? How was it?
It was difficult, and it's still difficult, because we are competing against local tour companies and international companies. And international companies, like I would give an example where most of the internationals, they will trust their international companies. And I think it is natural, being a service industry, people have to trust.
Yeah.
And so I remember there is a time I was doing a booking, because before we do a booking, you have to have an interview, or rather a conversation with the traveler. And so there was this traveler from Brussels. And I took him, through the entire planning, the entire itinerary. We had 3 Zoom meetings. Only for him, after now we had concluded and I sent him an invoice, he was like, I'm sorry, I can't send you such an amount because you are African. You can't, clearly we can't trust you because you're African. And he went ahead to say, we have decided to go with a Brussels company.
How did you feel?
It was so devastating. And I felt discrimination. It was like racial discrimination. Just because I'm not of their race and I'm not from their country, they cannot trust me to book and also, to plan and book a trip in my country.
How did you maneuver around such things? Because I know it can be demoralizing. You can feel like, oh, should I give up on this?
I decided, it was quite demoralizing because I spent so much time planning for that, doing the meetings, calling the hotels, putting the costs together, only for the client to tell you on the face, I won't book with you, not because of the cost, not because your services are bad, but just because you are African. And so, yeah.
They're coming to Kenya.
And they're coming to Kenya. So who is better placed to sell Kenya other than a Kenyan?
Yeah.
But still, I lost the business.
Yeah.
So I decided, you know what, I think that wasn't meant for me. I just have to be positive, rise up. Like I always say, rise up, show up, and make it count. So I rose up, I dusted it off, and I went ahead to look for other clients. And so I've had other clients that I've never, I meet them for the first time when I go to meet them at the airport, who have trusted me. And but building trust takes time.
Somebody said trust is the currency of business. What can you say to that?
It is, because one, you're entrusting me with your 1 million, with your 500K, with your 50,000, and you have rarely do clients come to the office. As you can see, no client has come since you came here. Yeah? They don't come. They engage us on email, on phone, and on LinkedIn. Because for me, I get a lot of clients also on LinkedIn and also from our website. And they trust my word that once they pay, they make the payment, I will deliver what I promised them to deliver. And you see, it is all about trust. They're putting money in my account, but even when they arrive, which has happened before, where you get to the airport and there's no one to pick you. Yet you paid 50,000 USD, you paid 1,000 USD, and there's no one to pick you, and calls are not going through and all that. But for me, it is beyond just the business and the profits. impacts. It's the impact. The employees that work for me, the drivers, the guides, the communities that I work with, because we offer cultural tourism that is meant to empower the communities through tourism. So the moment I ruin this company, the moment I ruin the trust that the clients have for me, I will not only ruin the business for myself, but for, it is an entire ecosystem. Yeah.
So you've talked about also the aspects of employees.
Yes.
And there was a day you told me about how you go about hiring. And maybe tell me a bit about that one. How do you go about hiring?
One, I'm very passionate about the youth.
Yeah.
So one of the reasons that we exist is also to create opportunities for the youth in this country. Like I mentioned, I ran a program back in the village, and I can tell you, almost on daily basis, I get inboxes and DMs of people. Some are my mentees. Can you get me a job? All that. And so I was like, if I can create something that will create opportunities, I will not employ everybody, but create opportunities for 1, 2, and maybe later 50 and 100. That is my joy. I will see I have made an impact in this country and in this world. But at the same time, I go for attitude.
Yeah.
Papers are good, they are very good, and they are very important, but if you match them with the wrong attitude, you are off.
So you hire based on attitude.
Attitude, yes.
Anything else you can teach?
Yeah, anything else I can teach. And I have taught,
Yeah.
and I keep teaching. Yes.
All right.
But if you have the wrong attitude, I cannot teach you to have the right attitude.
Yeah.
Yes, because it is a personal decision.
All right. And now moving forward to marketing, I think there's something I missed a bit when you talked about LinkedIn and
Yes.
how you connect with your clients. So how do you go about marketing?
Most of the time, I attend travel expos where I get to meet other tour operators, and I tell them what we offer and all that, because our biggest clientele is from abroad, like from the US, from UK, from Netherlands and Switzerland, but we also do local tourism. So I connect with my clients a lot online. That is on LinkedIn. I write a lot about what we do and what I believe in, what we care about, and from that we get people who are interested in what we offer. And once they reach out to us, they also tell others. And also at the expos, I get people who are interested and are looking for tour operators who can handle their guests in Kenya. Yes.
One entrepreneur told me you should be a billboard of your business wherever you're going.
That's true. That's very true. I'm a billboard of my company on LinkedIn and any other social media platform I am in.
You're so good in that area. You also talked about negotiation skills.
Yes.
I know when it comes to getting the clients, you have to negotiate. When I take you to Masai Mara, this is how much I charge you and stuff like that. How do you go about that one?
That one, it's a combination of the right attitude, emotional intelligence, communication skills, and also getting to understand your customer journey.
Yeah.
And now from different countries, I know what they are looking for. Also for Kenyans, that is why every time we get an inquiry that we want to travel to Kenya, or Phoebe, that is for Kenyans, we want to go outside the country, I have to have a conversation, not only me, but also my travel consultants in the office. You have to engage the client either on an email or on a call, but we prefer a call so that you totally get to understand what does the client want. And the moment you get to understand, you're able to profile the client and offer the best package for them.
So let me use myself as an example.
Yes.
I want to go to Masai Mara.
Yes.
So what could be the first thing, like I have to get into the call and then tell me the next step.
If you want to go to Masai Mara, I'll ask you, okay, Caleb, you want to go to Masai Mara, how do you want to go? Do you want to go as a couple? Do you want to go as a group of people? Do you want to join others that are going that you don't know, or you want to go as alone? Secondly, what experiences are you looking for in Masai Mara? How many days do you want to go there? What is your budget? And which month do you want to go? Why is that important? I'm able to know what kind of a hotel to pick for you. I'm able to know, to advise you whether that is the best time to go based on what you're looking for. Because you might tell me, okay, Phoebe, I hear that there is migration of wild beasts, and then you want to go in May. And I'll tell you, no, May is not the right time to go because there will be no migration of wild beasts. I think I should book for you from July until end of September, anytime from then. And then I ask you, what is your budget? You tell me your budget, and from the budget, I can tell you, Caleb, I think between July and September, it's peak season. And the budget you've given me, unfortunately, it doesn't match that season because that is peak season.
Yeah.
Would you like to top up your budget if you're keen on going to see the migration? Or do you want us to change to another destination or another month? Yeah. And then you might also tell me you wanted to travel with children. And then I ask you, how old are the children? You tell me they are 2, 5, and then I'm like, I think it might be a bad idea to go with a 2-year, 5-year-old to Masai Mara because they'll be so bored and you may not have a great experience, depending. I mean, especially I know it because I've experienced it with my own children. So, yeah.
All right. So, and that is very, very important to tell the client what they need to expect.
Exactly.
Now, talk to me a bit about customer experience. Like how do you manage your clients? Because I know it can be very tricky, especially in a service industry whereby anything you say can be taken against you.
Yeah, it's true.
So how do you manage that one?
What I do, after now we have engaged you at the beginning of your trip, and then now we organize and we close the deal. We send you the invoice, you pay. We send you an information, like a fact sheet, to tell you what you're going to expect during your trip. You know, the clothes you need to pack, what is the weather like, and what other experiences you can have in the destination. And what time you'll be picked by the driver, and this will be the driver, and what do you expect even in the vehicle. Then after that, we assure you that our phones remain open, just in case of anything. Should you arrive there and you find the room is not what you paid for, please call us, and then we settle it.
So you set expectation and meet the expectation.
And meet the expectation and ensure that we are on call during the time that the traveler is on that trip. And then after the trip is complete, especially now actually for both. For the locals, we take a call immediately after the trip. We'll give you a day or two, to settle back and all that. Then we call you, hi Caleb, how was your experience? Did everything go as expected and as promised? Would you have changed anything? All that.
Yeah.
Then after that, we can give you maybe a form with 3 questions you fill in, and then we ask you to give us a review on TripAdvisor.
Yeah.
Then there is also the international travelers. We try as much as possible, I personally, to meet them before they fly out, and then ask them, oh, how was your trip? And so I offer like lunch. I have a lunch date with them before they fly out, and most of these lunches, I do them in local restaurants so that they have a Kenyan feel.
Yeah.
Yes.
So before you get to now the business side of it.
Yes.
The business side of Steri Tours, the cars and everything, the money and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So what makes Steri Tours stand out among many other tour industry or tour companies in Kenya?
One, we are very keen on cultural tourism. And so we market Kenya beyond safaris, or Kenya beyond the wildlife. And so when somebody hears
and why is that important?
It is important because Kenya has more than the wildlife to offer to the world. You talk to the world and they just tell you about, the big 5 in Kenya, the migration of wild beasts and the Maasais. But it is interesting when I tell them, do you know in Kenya, we also have other 44 tribes other than the Maasais. So besides the Maasai experience, like recently we have a trip that just concluded a week ago, people who had come from Holland, and they had a Taita experience, where they go to a Taita village, they cook together, they even had glasses for the community. Like we emphasize on the impact and also adding juice to the customer experience. So when now we took them to the Taita village, they were like, wait, we have never seen this. And even when I posted on LinkedIn, people were like, Phoebe, what tribe is that? We only know of Maasai. We only know of animals. So you mean we can have such experiences? And then now the story behind it, when now they went there, we give them the freedom to interact with the community besides what they paid for that experience.
Yeah, if I'm getting your point is that there is more that Kenya has to offer,
Yes.
just over and above the wildlife and the Maasai and the Shukas.
Yes.
All right. All right. Let's now go to the business side of it. So,
Yes.
do you have cars and that you use, or you hire them?
We work with partners who have vehicles. Yes.
So, how do you manage, like, working with partners? Because I know sometimes they can.
No, I've worked with them for a long time, and we co-own the vehicles with them, and so that makes it easier for me to control, the logistics. And so there is no time we've had issues with the way we transport our guests from one place to another. Yeah, because these are partners I've worked with, and we co-own the vehicles together, and so I'm able to control that, because we are in this business together.
Yeah, tell me about the destination that, because actually I think I had missed that point.
Yeah.
What are the destinations, the major destinations across the world that you offer or that you take people?
One, like I said, we emphasize on Kenya, because we sell to the internationals. We sell Kenya to the international. But now for the Kenyans that we serve, we also take them outside the country. We take them to Singapore, we take them to Malaysia, we take them to Dubai, we take them to US. Like we've taken several to US who want to take their children to Disney World or something like that, and others to the UK. Yeah. Although we major in selling destination Kenya.
Kenya. Yes. So when you take them to United States,
yes,
because I know many people who will be watching, they'll be asking themselves, how can I get to Disneyland?
Yes.
Do you go with them, or kind of they just go there and there's a way you have partners there?
Yeah, in this industry, you can't work alone. You work with partners. So in every country that we take our guests to, we have a DMC, Destiny Management Company, that we work with, that handle all our logistics, such that we know when upon arrival into that country, our guests are picked and they are taken to the hotel, and also they will experience all the excursions that we put there, because we put together a very good itinerary, very exciting, and ensure it is seamless. Yes.
I know I'm going to get into the profit part of it.
Yes.
So how many people can you take to several destinations, let's say per day? Not per day, actually, per year.
A year from 200 and above. It depends on how the year looks like and how much marketing we have done. Yes.
So it doesn't really comes into like, this is the target, and
you see, now it also depends. You can take 1,000, but from 1,000 you're making 1,000. That is 1 million.
Yeah.
And you can take 100, and from each of them you're making maybe 200K.
Yeah.
You get. So sometimes it's not about the numbers, but the quality of the trips that you sell. Yeah.
So you're working with the magnitude, not scale. That concept of
economy of scale.
It's better, economies of scale. You better have two quality trips,
yes,
compared to 100 which are mediocre.
Exactly.
All right.
Because actually there is a year you can say, oh, we didn't have many guests, we only had 50. And then the previous year you had 100, but yet this year that you had 50 guests, you made more money than the year that you had 100 guests.
So how much do you make, let's say, per year?
That one is quite a very...
But it's a good amount. Let's say.
I would say it's a very profitable business.
Yeah.
And I would even encourage the youth and anybody who has an interest in tourism and adventure to venture into. It's quite challenging because it's very competitive. We have so many companies in this country, both local and international. So you are competing against all that, but you have to know what are you going to sell that will set you apart from the others. Yeah, actually, somebody made a joke and told me, Phoebe, you know, you're running a business. It's the only business that you get paid before you deliver the service.
Deliver the service.
The service, yes.
Yeah.
All the other businesses, but anyway, there is the salon. See, salon you pay after you have.
Yeah. So they say the cake is too big.
Yes.
If I'm getting your
yeah,
point.
it is.
So anybody can enter.
Yeah, you can enter into the. I mentor people, and as I say in my language, you cannot finish. I mean, the cake is enough for everyone.
Yeah.
I wanted to translate it in my language, but in
All right.
yes.
Okay. Now let's now talk about the mindset when getting into the business. I know there are so many entrepreneurs who would be watching and they'll be asking themselves,
Yeah.
what are the boxes that I need to check so that I enter into business as far as mindset is concerned and the business knowledge is concerned as well?
Okay. One, you have to be very confident and sure that you want to run a business. Secondly, don't start a business for profit only. Let there be a purpose for which you're starting the business. What problem are you solving? Because after profits, what? And then another thing, don't start a business to pay your bills. You'll be very frustrated. Because there are times you'll go for a month without sales. So what do? I did that at the beginning when I was beginning the business, and having come from the NGO sector, and I know my friends who work in the NGO sector can bear me witness, the salaries in the NGO sector are very good and very exciting. Then you have left that to start a business that you're not so sure of tomorrow. You know, in the job, end of the month, you're getting something. In business, sometimes you may, sometimes you may not. And it is not the same. Every month is not the same. So if you start a business I see people saying, I want to be my own boss, I want to have freedom, and sometimes you may not even have that time and the freedom that you're looking for when you get in business, especially the early years. And so it's good to get into business well prepared and also not to pay bills. I emphasize on that because the moment you get in and you're not able to pay bills, you will quit. But what has kept me going is the purpose for which I started the business. Actually, I need to mention this. In 2020, June, I was offered a country director job by a big NGO, and I declined the offer. And to many people, that may look like not a very wise decision, especially during COVID when nobody was traveling, but I was committed to my cause. I was committed to build an empire that will create employment for our people, that will also see communities thrive as tourism thrives.
I know now we're living in a very patriarchal society.
Yes.
So how did you maneuver around that one? Having now to get into an industry which is very competitive, which people would argue this belongs to men.
Yeah.
But you are here trying to break all the ceilings.
One, I would say it's not easy, especially being a woman, to run a business, and more so a tour business. The challenges are numerous. And then, remember, it involves also traveling. You're a woman, you're a mother, all that. And also you're competing with also men in those high rank, like some of the owners of the hotels, some of the managers. You have to do the drivers, the guides are men, it's very male dominated.
Yeah.
And but what makes me go on is understanding where we are coming from, what I'm bringing, and what they are bringing, and then now we come to a consensus. But also you have to be very confident in what you're doing, because sometimes it can be very intimidating.
Yeah.
You get intimidated by the clients, you get intimidated by other men in the industry and all that. But being focused and being confident of what you're doing and what you're offering, you're able to maneuver.
Yeah. So what are some of the challenges that you faced, especially now from the time you started up to now?
Yeah.
And how have you maneuvered around them?
One, I would say also getting the clients, like tracking the market. It's very hard because sometimes I would do a quotation and the client is like, oh, but this other company is offering this, and you see the difference is like 100 bob. But they don't want to go with you because you are higher by 100 bob. So figuring that out and trying to show the client that I don't compete over prices, I compete over quality of service that I offer and the experiences I offer, it took time. And also being rejected, it's not an easy thing. And being told, oh no, sorry, you know, and I had to come into terms with that, even from my friends. At first, I used to catch feelings like, wow, they asked me for a quotation, they didn't come back to me, then there they are posting, going to the same destination. You know, as a human, you'd feel bad, yeah? But then I came to realize I shouldn't have entitlement mentality. You don't have, Caleb, the fact that you're my friend, you don't have to book through me if you don't have faith in my services, you know, and it is okay. And so I made peace with that. I don't feel entitled that any of my friends or family members must book through me.
Yeah.
But it is upon me to ensure that whoever, whether family, friend, or anyone books through me, I offer the top-notch service and experience to them.
So you don't have to feel like entitled when you go into business. That is what I'm getting.
Yes, I don't feel entitled. I go with confidence that whatever I'm offering, it is the best, and you will say yes. But even if you don't say yes, I am okay with that.
You will still fine with it.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. I move on to the next client.
Yeah.
But I'm a very good negotiator. If I come and make a pitch to you, you will not say no.
And because you're almost repeating back to the negotiation skills.
Yes.
If somebody is entering into the business,
yes,
what are the major skills that they need to have? Like they need to have
the negotiation skills, emotional intelligence is very important, because if you don't have it, you're going to mess up. Also confidence, and also leadership skills, because you're going to deal with, like I deal with drivers, I deal with guides, I deal with employees, I deal with the hotels, I deal with other partners, with so many people. Also, networking skills are very important. If you're in business, you have to go telling everybody about your business. So if you don't tell them, who will? So I learned, like you said earlier on, that when you are running a business, you are the brand. And so for me, wherever I go, you go to my WhatsApp status, wherever I go, I tell people, I am the plug for all your travel needs.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So what are now the lessons that you have learned last, is it almost 10 years plus
It's
in business?
I would say this is the 5th year officially.
Yeah.
But
You've been there.
Yeah, I've been there for long. Yeah. 10 years. The lessons are don't quit. And also, I would say don't quit, but at the same time, I would add on that. It's okay to pivot. If you started this idea and then now you learned it's not working, it's okay to say, well, you know what? This is not working. Let me take this other direction. And then innovate. Like now for us, we don't just sell destination. We don't just sell trips. As a matter of fact, we signed an MOU with Laikipia Conservancies Association, where we work with them because, again, I said, I'm all about social impact. I'm all about working together with communities to strengthen their capacity to make money through tourism. So we are working with Laikipia Conservancies Association, where we are developing the tourism products for community conservancies in Laikipia.
So innovation is critical.
It's critical, yes. And collaboration is critical. You cannot work alone. You cannot say, oh, this is my business. I don't involve other people. I'm the one who is spearheading this. No, you have to work with other people. Otherwise, if you work alone, you will not walk far. But if you work with people, you will walk far and you will develop wings, even you will fly.
And there's something you mentioned that sometimes you have to pivot, and I remember somebody saying, date your ideas, don't marry them.
Yes.
So I think that is what...
Yeah, it is true. It is true.
Okay. So, okay, how about a bit, let's talk a bit about your personal life.
Yes.
How do you manage your personal life and having to run a company, having employees, having partners, and
Yes.
all this other stuff? And probably tell us a bit about yourself as well.
Okay, one, I'm a people's person.
Okay.
I love traveling, I love adventure, and so any moment I get a chance to travel, I travel because I can work from anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. And another thing, okay, I'm a mother of 3 children. The third one is recently adopted.
Yeah.
So yeah, and what I do, I incorporate my children also in my travels.
So you go with them.
Yeah, so I go with them. If I'm going to inspect a destination and they are not in school, I'll go with them. Actually, I get amazed when I go there and then I go with them and then they're like, "Mom, is this a 5? This one looks like a 5-star." And I was like, wow, at your age, I would never tell a 5-star or a 2-star, you know? Yeah, and when I'm booking like a ticket and all that, where they'll sit next to me, one will sit next to me and he's like, I'm like, see, this is how you book a ticket. And then now they go through it. And sometimes they make fun and they're like, Mom, you have the best job in the world. You're always traveling, you go to nice places.
Yeah.
And yeah. So I try as much as possible to incorporate them in what I do,
Yeah.
and also for them to learn and appreciate what I do, and yeah.
All right. Now, let's talk a bit about if you were to start afresh, like if you were to start Steri Tours from ground zero,
Yes.
what would you do differently?
One, if I was starting now, I wouldn't start. Yes, because you see, the years have advanced. Building a business is not easy. Yeah, it is hard. It is hard work. And so as the years go, it becomes harder and difficult. Right now, I have a lot of responsibilities.
Yeah.
So starting a business right now, remember, it means the first few years, you must be having another source of income to take care of yourself. So starting right now, without any other source of income,
And with children.
it is difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
But now I am happy and
So-
proud of the milestones I have made since I began, and so I don't regret.
So if you were to be taken like exactly to the age where you are,
Yes.
you were but when you were starting, but now with this current knowledge that you have now,
Yes, yeah.
now that's the question.
What I would do better?
Yeah, or differently.
What I would travel more and collaborate more. Yes.
So those are the most important skills.
Yes. Yeah.
All right, all right. And now we are almost coming to an end. I know out there are so many other entrepreneurs who are like, well, how can I start? Where even should I start? Do I even have to go into this business? Should I give up? What piece of advice would you give them?
I would say as long as you have a passion within and you have a reason to start that business. Because when you start a business, you're starting to solve a need. That is why I say don't ever start a business to pay your bills. That is the wrong reason to start a business. And don't ever start a business to say, I'm starting a business, you have no idea, just had lady clothes they sell. And so you start, you find out where they are, you can source them, and then now you just, boom, you begin. You're going to fail terribly. That's something that you're passionate about, and something that will keep you going even when there are no profits. And something that you're solving a need in the society, and you're creating an impact. Then now that way, when you don't focus so much on the shilling, you focus on the passion, the impact. The shilling eventually
Is the byproduct.
yes.
The shilling is the
Because you see now, you may have even the money and all. We have seen people starting business with a lot of money, but because it wasn't a combination of passion and solving a need, they fall in the process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, all right. So money is not the, if I'm getting the point,
Yeah.
money is not the end goal. It's the means.
It is the means. That is what I would say. And money, and don't get this wrong. Money is very good. It is,
Money.
we cannot do without money in this world. Money
Yeah,
is very good and it is very important.
Yeah.
And that is why even my focus is to ensure that the communities we work with, as tourism thrives, they also thrive economically.
Yeah. So talk about where they can find you and where you can take them.
Okay. Hi, you can find Steri Tours on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on TikTok, on Facebook, and on our website. And on our website, there is a link that you click and it takes you to our exciting itineraries that take you to our beautiful destinations in this country. And we really like custom making the journeys and the packages for our clients. So just say it and we will custom make it for you.
So follow her advice and you'll have $1 million business.
Yes.